All right, a happy Friday. Hopefully, everyone is great out there. Football Friday down here in Southwest Florida. Yes, I am representing the Celtics. How ironic. I figured we'd do a little bit of a Friday whip around, similar to what we did last Thursday, kind of around the NBA. A lot has developed over the last week, and I figured might as well do a 10 to 12 minute video. And we will start. We're going to talk clips. I'm going to end that with the clips, and we will start. Let's start with New York. Shams reported first on Thursday, Landry Shamet agreed to a deal, and on Friday, Malcolm Brogdon. Both of those contracts are non-guaranteed. Okay, the Knicks right now, before each player is signed, and they haven't signed yet, and I'm going to explain in a minute what's going to happen here. New York is $3.7 million below the second apron. As of right now, they can only keep a player on a veteran minimum contract, which is 2.3, and a player on a second round pick exception, which is right around $1.2 million. Both players are non-guaranteed contracts. They count as zero against the salary cap because nothing is protected. That clock does not start until we get closer to the start of the regular season here. So those guys can sign. They can come on the roster for training camp. But as I said, New York would have to make a decision on what of the two players do they keep. From my understanding, that there's a likelihood is that both will be on the roster when the regular season starts, barring an injury here. That means how do you create that money? And I think what you're looking at, that cap flexibility, I think you're probably looking at a trade, whether it be Tyler Kolek or Pacom Dadier, your first round pick from a year ago. That would give you the necessary room. If you traded Kolek, you can sign, you can keep both Shamet and Brogdon and also sign a player to the second round pick exception. You'd be roughly $44,000 below the second apron. Dadier gives you a little bit more money as far as a flexibility standpoint here. So that is the situation in New York as far as a team that a lot had question as far as their depth when they lost to Indiana in the playoffs here. What you're going to see with New York is because they only have 12 players under contract. They haven't agreed to this. You're probably going to see two guys sign, and they also signed Garrison Matthews, which I think is going to be an exhibit 10. You're going to see them get to 14 players and then sign Brogdon and Landry because both those players are going to have an exhibit 9 in their contract. That means if either are injured during the training camp, the most New York can pay is $15,000. You can't include exhibit 9s in a player contract until your roster hits 14 players, not including two-way players. So they'll hit the 14, and then both those players will sign. We'll see when that happens. We're only 2 weeks away from training camp beginning. New York is heading overseas, and so we'll pay attention to that. But I would expect a move where probably maybe in the next 2 weeks, where one of those two former draft picks from a year ago are traded. After that, you're looking at Deuce McBride, who you're not going to move. He's got a good contract. Mitchell Robinson. The easy solution is to trade Kolek or Dadier. Even if you waived Ariel Hukporti, who's on a non-guaranteed, that doesn't get you to the numbers to keep both of your those veterans here. As far as the restricted game, we saw Josh Giddey sign for 4 for 100. It's a $25 million flat across the board. I think the salary cap percentage is right around 16%, and then it declines each year. 4 for 80, we reported last week 4 for 88, and all of a sudden that gap closed to 4 for 100. It's a good value contract. It's a good value contract for Chicago. It's below what the average starting point guard salary is. I think the starting point guard salary in the NBA is like 34, 35 million. You get Giddey at $25 million. There was an actual threat that he was going to sign that qualifying offer. And I think certainly from Chicago's perspective, where they are financially this year and where they are moving forward, 22 million, which was being offered compared to 25 million. It's an easy way to kind of close that gap. So Giddey is off the board. He's at 4 for 100. Quentin Grimes is certainly still out there, who is a restricted free agent. If you're Philadelphia and Grimes is a priority, yes, you are looking to move off that Kelly Oubre and Andre Drummond contracts that would give you $13 million more in flexibility. As of right now, they are pressed against the first apron and certainly the second apron financially. Grimes signing the QO, which is right around 8.8, puts them in the tax, puts them close to that first apron here. I think the big question in Philadelphia, what we'll see is do they have the green light to go out and give players multi-year contracts at significant numbers? Significant numbers for me with Grimes is 18 to 20 million dollars. We'll wait and see what happens in Philadelphia. Jonathan Kuminga, of course, is still out there. Anthony Slater, I was just watching on ESPN, kind of gave a Kuminga update as far as where we are. Remember, October 1st is the deadline to sign the qualifying offer. Kuminga's number is at $8 million. When you do some napkin math with the situation in Golden State, remember the likelihood is that you're going to have Al Horford on the tax mid-level exception, which is at 5.7. When you sign a player to the tax mid-level exception, that hard caps you at the second apron. And when you look at the Warriors roster, they have to add three players on a veteran minimum contract. What is the most Kuminga could sign for? It would be 2 years, $50 million. If he started at $24 million, that would leave them enough room to go out and sign Horford and also three players on a veteran minimum contract to get to 15 players, 14 players, excuse me. And you would have to leave a roster, you would have a 15th roster spot open. And sometime during the season, you would be able to sign a player. I think it's like a little over 270,000 in room. So basically, without a trade, that gets you to probably sometime in March where you can sign that 15th player here. I think there's a resolution to this, and I think if you're Golden State, there has to be a resolution. I don't think you can afford Kuminga back on a $8 million qualifying offer. Anthony made a couple of really great points from a locker room standpoint, and certainly from a trade standpoint here. $8 million is big difference than $24 million. So we're 3 weeks away from the October 1st. We will see what happens with Kuminga, but I do think there's a reachable solution for both sides. Cam Thomas signed that qualifying offer last year. Last week. We talked a little bit before he signed it. It's still interesting for me where the number was, which was 1 year, 6 million. Basically, what Shams had reported that he signed for that he was willing to value 1 year bird restriction, which is basically a non-de facto trade clause, over an additional $3 to $4 million. We will see how that plays out. Also, on to the Clippers. Oh boy, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Where do we start? Listen, as I said on NBA Today on Wednesday, the optics are terrible. I mean, and this was before the report on Thursday regarding Dennis Wong. What the optics are and what the court of public opinion are, certainly it would make it look like the Clippers are guilty of salary cap circumvention. I did say on NBA Today on Wednesday that what the optics are and what the actual evidence could be or what the actual findings could be completely different. I am not ready, and hear me out. I am not ready to say anybody is guilty or anybody is innocent. I'm going to try to hit this down the middle right now. Um, what I will say, and I said this on NBA Today, there are two things that the league looks at from, I guess, cardinal sin, taboo, no-nos. Gambling on games, executives, players, the integrity of the game, and salary cap circumvention. Trust me, if you are guilty of salary cap circumvention, I don't want to say your franchise is ruined, but it is going to set your franchise back considerably. The situation that was reported on Thursday regarding Dennis Wong and allegedly paying $2 million, that is a disturbing allegation when you look at salary cap circumvention. There is going to need to be an explanation from the Clippers side of it on why a payment was made um, to this basically Ponzi scheme company that was running out of money. And as I said, The commissioner is going to let the investigators of the law firm, which is not unusual. When you hire an outside law firm to invest as your investigator, that's not unusual when it comes to salary cap circumvention. I said that happened to us in Brooklyn in 2013. You're going to let this play out because if the allegations are true, it will be probably one of the biggest, maybe bigger than Minnesota salary cap circumvention situations that we've seen in a long time. And even if the scenario, let's just say the hypothetical scenario, even if Steve Ballmer didn't know and the Clippers front office didn't know, but you had basically someone else do it, it don't matter, man. It don't matter. It's basically like recruiting violations. If the head coach didn't know, but one of your assistants did it, you're still going to get in trouble significantly here. And we will let this situation play out. I'm not going to, and listen, I have no skin in the game. I could care less. I care about the integrity of the NBA. And we will let this play out. But as I said, if the Clippers are found guilty, we are going to look at significant fines, significant suspensions, and significant draft assets lost. I have no issue with the commissioner said on Wednesday. I thought he was going to be pretty short. I thought he was just going to say, listen, we care, salary cap circumvention is serious, and we're going to let our outside law firm investigate this. I have no issue with the commissioner said. What is he supposed to do? Go up and say, yep, the Clippers are guilty, and this is what we're going to do. Nope. This is going to be a long investigation, and maybe more information will come out of it. I don't know. I didn't think anything more would have come out. And then all of a sudden, Thursday, this comes out, which is eye-opening to say the least. But we will let this play out. And whenever it happens, I trust the law firm that the league has hired to go out and do that. So that is my 2 cents on the Clippers. Sports Business Classroom, we have updated CBA 101. Yes, there is a whole section on salary cap circumvention. You can go on sportsbusinessclassroom.com. You can download it. It's in the program section at CBA 101 cheat sheet. 250 pages. It's free. Yes, we offer free things out there. We also have a transaction guide up there. You can go in. All this information is free. You can read about the salary cap. You can read about all the transactions that are happening. You can find that on sportsbusinessclassroom.com. That is it. Hopefully everyone has a great Friday. Remember, love your neighbor, man. Love your neighbor. Respect your neighbor. It's okay to have arguments with your neighbor, but love your neighbor. Do something good out there in the world, okay? Sometimes we kind of live in this world where there's a lot of negativity out there, but love your neighbor. Have a great day, everyone. We'll talk soon.